Hello students, welcome to my YouTube channel. In this video lecture, we are going to solve some of the questions from revision questions chapter in the last pages of Oxford General Navigation book. So let's begin with question number 80. Very simple, theoretical. The maximum possible value of dip angle at either pole, north pole or south pole, will be what? So it will be equal to 90 degree. Now what is dip angle? Dip angle is nothing but the angle between north correction between horizontal component of the magnet and its vertical component. Okay, the angle between horizontal and vertical components of the magnet, right? So this is your dip angle. Let's say this is your earth. You have north pole, you have equator. Now at the equator, the horizontal component of the earth's magnetic field is maximum and the vertical component is minimum. At poles, either pole, north pole or south pole, the vertical component of the earth's field, earth magnetic field, is maximum. The horizontal component is minimum, right? And dip angle is the angle between horizontal component and vertical component. At equator, where horizontal component is maximum and vertical component is zero, the dip angle is the dip angle is 0 degree, meaning horizontal component and vertical component coincide. At poles, the dip angle is 90 degree. Okay, because at poles, the vertical component is maximum and at equator, the horizontal component is maximum. So the angle between them will be perpendicular, 90-degree angle, and that will happen at the north pole, okay, where vertical component is maximum. So the angle made will be 90 degrees. Next, magnetic heading is there, drift is given to you, relative bearing. What is the magnetic bearing of NDB measured from aircraft? So, meaning you have to find QDM. So, magnetic heading is there. Drift is irrelevant here because we want a final answer in magnetic bearing, not true bearing. So, variation is not given. Drift will give us track. Okay, let's use the formula. Now QDM, that is magnetic bearing to the station, equals to relative bearing plus magnetic heading. Relative bearing is 270. Magnetic heading is 311. Okay, so 270 plus 311 will be equal to 581 minus 360 is 221 degree. That is your QDM. Now, what is the track, magnetic track of this aircraft? Now, whenever you are experiencing a port drift, what happens? In port drift, the heading of your aircraft is more than the track. In this case, you are getting a port drift of 10 degrees. The heading of aircraft is 311. So, the track of your aircraft will be how much? It will be less than 311 since heading is going to be more than track. So, less than heading by 10 degrees. So, 311 minus 10 is 301 degree. So track is 301 degrees, heading 311 and relative bearing 270 from the magnetic heading. QDM to the station is 221. Let's draw this diagram. Let's say this is your north pole, correction, northerly direction, north datum. The track is 301 Here is your NDB station in the center. So track, you're flying on a track of 301. A heading is 311. Heading is okay, so in this case, QDM, that is magnetic bearing to the station, is 221. QDR will be equal to, that is magnetic bearing away from the station, 221 minus 180, 041. Okay, that means you are on a track of 041 from the NDB station. So I'll erase this. You are on track of 041 from the NDB station at a heading of 311. So 311 will be somewhere here. The relative bearing is nothing but the angle between your aircraft heading and the track to the station, that is QDM. Okay, so track away from the station in this case is 041. The track to the station is opposite of 041, 221. And relative bearing is the angle between heading and inbound track clockwise. So 311 up to this inbound track. So the angle will be 270 degrees. 270. Relative bearing will be 270. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the diagram. Next, diagrammatic representation of this question. Correction. Runway direction is 083 magnetic. Surface velocity is 035 at 35 knots. Calculate crosswind component. The formula is crosswind equals to uh, sine theta into wind speed, where theta equals to the direction between your wind velocity and runway direction. So here wind velocity is 035 and runway direction is 083. So 35 minus 83 is 5 minus 48. Substitute the values in the formula. Sine of minus 48 into wind speed 35. So sine minus 48 into 45 is equal to 33 knots. Okay. So crosswind component is 33 knots wind speed, and minus sign denotes the wind coming from the left. Diagrammatically, let's draw this diagram. So this is your northerly datum. The runway direction is 083, right? So 0826. Next, the winds are coming from a direction of 035 at 35 knots, meaning the wind is blowing from here, 035 at 35. Your aircraft is using runway 08, flying in the direction of 083. So when you are flying from this direction, okay, the winds will be coming from your left hand side. When you are using runway 26, the wind will be coming from your right hand side. Okay, so minus sign denotes left hand direction. So this is the diagrammatic representation of the sum. Closest option is 34. Next, question number 84. For takeoff, aircraft requires a headwind component of at least 10 knots and crosswind of 35 knots. The angle between the wind direction and runway is 45. Calculate maximum and minimum wind speeds. Now here headwind formula will be wind speed into cos theta. Minus sign denotes headwind. Now here headwind, you need at least 10 knots headwind. So 10 wind speed we have to find out cos theta. Theta is the direction between your wind and runway 45. So wind speed will be equal to 10 divided by cos 45. So cos 45 is 0.7. So 10 divided by 0.7 is 14.28, that is 14 knots. So you need minimum 14 knot wind speed in order to get 10 knots of headwind component at this 45-degree angle between runway and wind velocity. Okay, so we have two options containing 15 knots and 15 knots. Now let's find out crosswind. Crosswind component equals to wind speed into sine theta. Wind speed, crosswind is 35 knots, wind speed unknown, sine 45. So wind speed will be equal to 35 divided by sine 45. Now sine 45 is 0.7 again. So 35 divided by 0.7 is 50. So you need a wind speed of 50 knots in total in order to get 35 knot crosswind at an angle of 45 degrees. Okay, so 14 and 15. So the closest option is option A. 15 knots wind speed in order to get 10 knot headwind, 50 knot wind speed in order to get 35 knots crosswind, maximum crosswind limit. Next, what is the weight in kilogram of 380 US gallons at a specific gravity of 0.78? Specific gravity is nothing but mass upon volume, just like density is mass upon volume, where mass must be in kilogram, volume must be in liters. Now here volume is 380 US gallon. Let's convert this 380 US gallon into corresponding liters. Okay. Very first option, unit conversions, select that. In the volume option, substitute, you are going to substitute 380, right? 380 US gallon. So 380, yeah, 380 US gallon. Press convert unit button to convert the unit into liters. So 380 US gallons is 1438.46 liters. So 1438 liters. And we have to find weight in kilograms. Specific gravity is 0.78. Substitute the values. 0.78 equals to mass divided by 1438. So mass will be equal to 1438 into 0.78. So 1438 into 0.78 is 1121.64 kg. Okay, 1121. So the correct option or the closest is option A, 1123. So this is how you do the sum. Remember the units: mass in kilogram, volume in liter. So if you have been given volume in any other unit like US gallon, UK gallon, convert that into liters first and then solve the question. You leave point A, that is alpha, to fly to point Bravo. The distance 475 miles at 10 o'clock. Estimated time of arrival at destination is 11:30. At 10:40, you are 190 miles from A. What ground speed is required to arrive on time at B? Important question. So this is your point A, this is point B. The distance between A and B is 475. You leave A at 10 o'clock and you are supposed to reach B at 11:30 no matter what. At 10:40 you are at point C, let's say, and 190 miles away from point A. Okay. So now we will calculate ground speed first. Ground speed, aircraft is flying to reach point C at 10:40. So ground speed will be equal to distance divided by time. Now distance between A and C is 190 nautical miles. Time 10 o'clock 10:40, that is 40 minutes of time. Convert this 40 minutes into hours. So you divide 40 by 60, so that 60 goes in the numerator. So 190 into 60 divided by 40 is 285. So flying at a 285 knots speed, we will reach point C at 10 o'clock 40 minutes, 10:40. Now what is the remaining distance between Charlie and Bravo? The remaining distance is 475 minus 190, 285. Okay. Now you have to cover a remaining distance 285 nautical miles in next 50 minutes. Okay, in next 50 minutes. Now if you in next 50 minutes, so you have 50 minutes to reach point Bravo. Okay, if you continue to fly at this speed, let's see at what time you reach point B, whether you reach before 11:30, on time, or after 11:30. So time equals to distance by speed. Distance, remaining distance is 285. The speed we are going to follow is 285 knots. We are going to fly is 285. So 285 by 285 is 1 hour. So that means you will reach point B 1 hour later. 1 hour later means 10:40. You will reach 1 hour later at 11 at 11:40. 10 minutes late. 10 minutes later. According to the question, we must reach point B on time, not before time, not after time, on time. So in order to reach point B on time, you will have to fly at a ground speed which is more than 285 knots to cover up, to compensate. Okay. So your new speed will be equal to distance divided by time. What is distance? 285. And time, you have to reach point Bravo at 11:30, that is in next 50 minutes. So 50 into 60, 60 in the numerator. Now 285 into 60 divided by 50 is 342. So from point Charlie, that is point C, you must fly at a new speed of 342 knots, more than 285 knots, in order to reach point B at same estimated time of arrival, 11:30. Okay, so the correct answer is option A, 342 knots. With this, we come to the end of this lecture. I hope you have understood all the questions I have done in this lecture. Keep practicing, practice other questions that I have solved and uploaded to my YouTube channel. The more you practice, the more confident you become, and more are the chances of you are becoming successful in your exams. So I wish you all the best. Subscribe to this channel please, and share this video with your friends. That will be a huge favor. All the best. See you next time.